on another level, to enlarge the world. Now that sounds like a very grandiose phrase. All it means is that when you, for example, begin to read, you discover more about the world than you knew before. You discover more about the world in two ways, and this is why it is important. There being, in fact, two worlds. One world is you. That this envelope, I'm a world. I'm not the only world, that's my problem. But I am a world, and I'm under the obligation to discover whatever it is that goes on in that world. And in order to do that, I have got to consent to become a social animal in order to discover and to enlarge what goes on in this world, which is all of you and many millions of people, both living and dead, past and to come. And finally, this is where it begins to be difficult. The measure of one's dignity depends on one's estimate of oneself. It really does not depend, as so many people in this country now seem to believe, on someone else's estimate. It depends, first of all, on what you take yourself to be, what your real standards are, what you think is right, what you think is wrong, what you think life is all about, what you think life is for.
As you know, the Brown versus Board of Education ruling of 1954 officially ended segregation in schools. However, many southern states simply ignored the ruling, so much so that the court had to make a second ruling called Brown 2 in 1955 that ordered schools to integrate with deliberate speed. In other words, they meant to integrate now. 2 years later, 9 black students were chosen by Daisy Bates, the president of the local chapter of the NAACP, to integrate Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. On the first day, students were met with strong resistance from locals. And Governor Faubus, who ignored the federal ruling, sent state National Guard troops to prevent the students from entering. 3 weeks later, President Eisenhower federalized the troops and sent 1,000 servicemen to enforce the court ruling. The troops marched the 9 students right up the stairs and into the school. For the first year, each student was assigned their own personal troop to escort them from class to class. However, this effort didn't prevent the 9 from experiencing some of the most heinous acts of violence and bullying. Only one of the 9 graduated, because the following year, the governor closed all city schools, and soon other southern states followed the same actions. Yes, the governor closed the city schools for a year and halted education, not because there was an imminent threat like a killer virus, but simply because black students sought to uphold their constitutional right. So as I walked up those stairs with my white husband and our son, I felt a sense of pride and satisfaction knowing that their sacrifice and their bravery wasn't in vain. So as we celebrate Black History Month, let's challenge ourselves to be woke, to read, to know as much about our history as possible. Because if we knew our true history, if we knew our true selves, then we would know that everything America has said about us is a lie. So I implore you to get educated, to read, and if you have children, to educate them as well, so that when someone tries to sell them on this lie of inferiority, they can look them dead in the eye and tell them, "You's a lie."